So today on Let Out the Clutch, brought to you by Biker Attorney, I've got two friends of mine, and we're going to try to behave tonight. But Steve and Gloria have been my friends for a long time. We've already been chastised once. We'll try to behave, but that's what it is. But these friends of mine are just up the street, and they have a company called Santa Fe Customs, and I wanted to introduce you to them today. But I met you before Santa Fe, before I knew you were Santa Fe.
Long time.
Yes.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, I was your mail carrier.
How many years was that?
Oh my gosh, I carried mail for 17 years, but I was your mail carrier when you were at Via Esperanza.
I did not know that.
Oh yes, long time ago.
Well, I was there for 10 years.
I carried your mail for a long time.
Well, I probably didn't know because we had those boxes out front.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was there for a little over 10 years, and that's awesome.
Fun times. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Exactly.
These guys own a company called Santa Fe Customs, and I'm going to let Steve tell you a little about what they do.
Well, we do bike to trike conversions. We do custom paint, one-off builds, service work, wheels, tires, just a little bit of everything. We have our own mixing equipment, so we do tint and match the CVO colors. Got full-size downdraft booth. We're fully set up and ready to go.
Now, you guys started in the automobile industry?
Yep. Yeah, I had a body shop in Ponca City. It was started in 1978.
Long time ago.
Long time ago, yeah. And sold it and moved here in 96.
What brought you to Oklahoma City from Ponca? Not her.
No,
I was already there.
we did direct repair work for a couple insurance companies, and one guy, you never could get a hold of him because he was always so busy. And so I asked him one day, I said, Dave, I said, if you need any help, let me know. Because we were in the city all the time because we had records and running back and forth, if I could pick up a car and haul it or stop doing an estimate or whatever. And so he called me one day and asked me, he says, hey, do you still want to help me? And I said, sure. What do you need? Well, I need you to come to work for Allstate. Okay. Well, at that time, we had the body shop, we had pickup and van accessories, rental cars, and an alignment shop across town. So I told him, I said, well, I guess if we can keep all of this, find somebody to run it, then I'll come to work for you guys. Well, couldn't do that. Had to sell everything, but that's how we got down here, went to work for Allstate for about corporate America for about 14 years.
Now, how did you create Santa Fe Customs?
She wanted a trike. And so in 2010, she actually bought a Sportster off of her youngest son, and I triked it. And it got to where you couldn't stop for gas because it'd be a 45-minute conversation with somebody. Couldn't go down the highway because we were missing exits because people pulling up alongside videoing her. So it just got to where sold one, built another one, sold that, built another one, and then in July of 2011 started Santa Fe Customs part-time and then went full-time in December of 2013.
So 11 going on 12 years?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's how it all started. It's all her fault.
I had watched T. Collier when she had first bought the magazine, Thunder Roads, and she took a bunch of ladies on a ride to raise funds for breast cancer treatment.
But how long ago was
research?
This?
I think that was in 2009, 2010 maybe, and I thought, I got to do that. And I know she had some criteria to meet, so I had a busy few weeks trying to get, but after a year, I made it. Now, I stalked them long enough, they just had to let me ride with them.
Didn't give them a choice.
I know, I didn't.
That's pretty awesome. Now, you guys have an interesting story. You just celebrated your anniversary this week.
We did.
Married how long?
43 years.
It's a long time to
It is a long time.
Man, that means some kind of an award if it's Steve that long. So, the story of how you met is quite interesting. So, tell the people how you met.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was at the local motocross race in Ponca City, and I decided to climb off the bike, not in a very fashionable way.
Not voluntarily.
Not voluntarily, no. And I crashed right in front of her, and that's...
She was in the stands.
No, I was standing by the fence. Yeah.
Doing what?
Watching the race.
Okay.
So when it kind of knocked him out, and there was no flagger right there, so I hopped over the fence to see if he was all right, and that was in April of 1978.
That's a few days ago.
It was. It was. But I enjoyed the races, and I was out there to watch the races. I didn't know I was going to get a husband, too. So, you know?
That's a heck of a story.
Yeah,
And you raced side-by-sides, too. Not side-by-sides, four-wheelers.
yeah. I raced four-wheelers, did trials, hare and hound, cross-countries, ATVs, a little bit of everything.
Now, how'd you get your training to become a mechanic as well?
Racing. Yeah, I did a lot of. I mean, you mess something up, you'd have to fix it real quick, and so that's just kind of how I got into it. Just always working on my own stuff. That, and then having the body shop as well, working on cars and stuff. It just all kind of went hand in hand.
You guys made a big move this past year and a half. How long has
Yeah,
it been?
it's been a year this month.
And tell everybody where you are now.
We're at 13035 South Kelly Avenue.
Got a huge shop there now.
Yeah, we're in Building B. It's in a business park, and it's a bunch of gearheads in there. There's another body shop, and then mechanics all over the place. And it's kind of a cool little area.
Wow, you got a huge space. How much square footage do you have?
About 6,500 square foot.
The last time I was there, you had a whole bunch of bikes in there as well.
We do.
35.
That's a lot of bikes.
It is.
35, and then
And
three
three vehicles.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned the paint and body shop. You've got somebody else coming up under your tutelage, your son, Colton, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Colton,
Yes.
he's our painter. He does body work and paint work. He also does stereo installs. So he has Santa Fe Sound he runs out of there as well. It works out real well. We just got, do stereos and cars, on bikes and boats. He does some stuff in homes. So it's a little bit of everything.
And then he does most of the painting now for you guys?
Yeah, he does all of it anymore. Yeah,
He's
I
very
haven't painted
meticulous.
I haven't painted in over a year now, or 2 years. It's been a while.
Well, one of my favorite paint jobs is on your Trike.
Oh, yeah. I love my Trike. I do.
Well, we might post a picture of it later, but
Okay,
tell us about the
all right.
symbolism of the bike.
Well, first off, the bike Steve and I bought brand new right off the showroom floor. It's 2009 Electric Glide Standard as our touring bike before I started riding by myself. And so when Colton came to me and was going to repaint it, he took items from our home and integrated it into the paint job on the bike. So I have a lot of native art in our home, and so he picked up on a lot of the colors and a lot of the shapes. And then before my dad passed, he had a saddle that I wanted, and he gave it to me. And the diamonds on the Trike are actually in the saddle, in the leather. So it's got a feather on there for my dad, and it's etched in blue and then white because he's passed. So don't make me cry, kid.
I wasn't trying to.
I know.
And Colton kept it a secret from you. You
He
couldn't see
did.
it.
He did. He put a locking doorknob on the paint booth so I couldn't get in there, and then he would lock it every time when he would leave, and so I just got to see bits and pieces until it was done.
That's been within the last year or so, hasn't it?
Yes, it was a year ago, August, that they finished it. We loaded it in the trailer the night before we left for Sturgis.
Very nice. Now, as far as we're kind of jumping around, but the Trike thing, is that kind of your main focus or the thing, your bread and butter? So
Yeah,
to speak?
that's the main thing we do. It's so rewarding to watch somebody that's got bad balance or bad hips or bad knees, and they can't hold a two-wheeler up, and then they get back on the Trike, and now they're back in the wind, and it's pretty rewarding to see that. It really is.
Do you have a certain line you carry?
We carry our go-to is Motor Trike because it's a full independent, and then we also do some Hannigan stuff mainly on sidecars, and then Frankenstein, which is a billet aluminum kit. It's a lot cheaper than what the Motor Trike is, but it's
Straight axle.
it's a straight axle conversion.
So who's your potential client then? Someone that's had an injury or an incident or age?
It varies. I've had young guys in their 30s that come out with their wives, and their wives won't ride with them anymore because they can't hold the bike up. So they'll do it so that way they have their balance back, and the wife will ride with them. People with bad hips, bad knees, no upper body strength, can't hold a bike up.
We built one Trike for a couple that she was in a wheelchair, but she could get on it, but she couldn't walk. So we fixed some straps to strap her feet to the
Floorboards.
floorboards on the back.
Where'd you put the wheelchair?
They had a
They
trailer.
had a trailer, and
Yeah.
he would load the wheelchair on the trailer, and then
Yeah.
off they'd go.
Now you call it fully independent. That's a suspension on the rear.
Yeah.
Does it help performance or something?
It's just like the suspension underneath the front of your car. It's full independent. But if it's a Harley or an Indian, you've still got the belt drive. But then you've got axles with CV joints, but it's a full independent upper and lower control arms, got a sway bar, 5-way adjustable progressive coilover shocks, and then it's got airbags that go to the upper control arms, but it's for ride comfort. It doesn't raise it and lower it, but it's for the ride comfort. And then you put a rake on the front of it, and that gives it power steering, but it's bolt-on triple trees. So you're not destroying anything on the bike. So it could be put back to a motorcycle if you wanted. Because you get all the parts, everything that comes off of it goes back to the customer.
Gotcha. And then have Colton paint it for you? Is that what you do?
Yeah, we paint the bodies to match. We have to body work the bodies because we get them there in raw gel coat. So we do all the body work on that and then paint them to match.
Now you mentioned tires and wheels and that kind of stuff. So you do general service as well?
General service, oil changes, the wheels and tires. We can do the custom wheels, have them built, spokes, big mags, 26, whatever. We do quite a bit of that stuff. Service work, minor engine repair. I don't really get into a big major overhaul, but
General stuff you can
just
do.
general stuff, yeah.
In details.
And details.
I'm not gonna
And
forget you.
details.
So if you guys drive your car through the car wash, like I have done on many occasions and will likely do again,
Oh, goodness.
she will not be happy with you when you take your big bike.
Bike,
to the
no,
car.
don't do that.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
It's got a hose and a wand. I can just blow.
Sometimes you can power wash the bearings out of the front wheel. You can knock your ECM out of the computer, and it's like, you don't want to do that. That's expensive.
That's what we're getting at. Is
I-
that Gloria
I,
details bikes.
I know, I do. I'm the crazy lady from Edmond that enjoys dirty motorcycles, but I degrease them, hand washed, always.
You think you've washed most all
I
of mine.
clean. I take the seat. The saddlebags come off. Everything comes off that'll come off, and then I clean underneath the seat. The saddlebags are all cleaned and polished, and the chrome is chrome polished, and it's waxed, and then you get it back.
Now that brings me. Have you done T's bike yet?
I have not. She can't turn loose of it yet. I don't think. I don't know.
She's got too many shows that
Yeah,
she's presentations
and that's
she's
okay.
doing with
She's
it
doing
yet.
a great
So.
job. What she's doing, raising money.
And you guys have heard about T's run for Kicking Childhood Hunger, but not only was I a sponsor, but these guys were a sponsor for her event and helped her out with her bike and helped her out with Fox to get her suspension put on.
Yeah.
Yes, box shocks.
So I have to be candid. I think of Fox as being an off-road brand. It was something I would go to for an off-road dirt bike. What made you decide to put that on a street glide?
They have come a long way, and Fox has been in business, and they've been tried, true, and tested for a lot of years. They're not as expensive as some, but they're not as cheap as most. But as far as dependability, rideability, user friendliness, my personal opinion is Fox is a step ahead of the rest of them, just for the easiest, as easy as you can adjust it to your riding capabilities or to your riding needs.
And T liked Fox because of her friend.
I know Jessie Combs, and I didn't know her as well as T or Maricha, of course, but I was so honored to get to ride with her several times, and she told Terry every time, Fox, Fox, Fox.
So here's my question, because we would do that presentation, would listen to T do a presentation on her ride, and she praised the shocks, and the roads that she was on were destroyed, often destroyed, not every
Yes.
one of them, but a lot of them were. I've got the lowrider as T. Would I put them on my bike as well, or what do you, or do they go on any bike
Yeah,
basically?
well, they make applications for just about every Harley. So on yours, yes, they do have an application for that, and you can do the gas charged or just the regular coilover as well. But then you can do the cartridge in the front as well too.
And I haven't had mine that long, or put that many miles on it since my wreck from
Accident.
what an accident! I got hit by a dang car.
Yeah, yeah.
But I took it to Arkansas for Bikes and Blues in September, and it's a significantly different bike than the last road glides I had.
Right.
So my observations are the low rider, it obviously is lighter, it's more nimble, it's quicker. It's a long road bike with the bags and the fixed fairing, but it did not ride as smooth as my touring bike.
Right.
I don't think it ever will. The question is, that's kind of a loaded question, but would the Fox shocks make that different for me?
Yes, just for the simple fact you can adjust it a whole lot more than you can your factory shock.
Yeah, I noticed it mostly on the highway. You know, we rode the turnpike up, and then we tried to avoid storms, so we took highway south to 40 on the way back. And on the highway, it was definitely not my road glide.
Right.
When I rode the pig trail and Highway 20, whatever it is up there, I forgot that I wasn't. I mean, it rode just fine. It handled really well. So the Fox shocks would give me a chance to adjust it somehow and make it more like a touring bike, or not?
Well, you can adjust it to the ride that you want to do it, and it's the way they work is that you've got two adjustments, top and bottom, and you can fine tune
Top
it.
and bottom for the front and the back.
No, for a front, like on your rear shock on your canister on the gas charge,
Okay.
you can adjust it, soften it or stiffen it on the top, and then you can adjust your rebound and everything on the bottom just by doing one click one way or the other. And it's simple. You just get off the bike and you click and take off, and then you go from there. But we set the shock up originally to your weight, so the shock itself is set to that, and you can fine tune it just by a couple clicks here and there. So you can adjust it for going down the highway, or you can adjust it for the corners.
And I guess that may be a big difference from the other competition.
So your weight, and if you add luggage or whatever, then that would be added
you can
to
adjust
as well.
it, and that's just get spanner wrench and do a quick turn one way or the other.
So I could have had it set up for the ride over and the ride back, and then changed it for when I was in town riding
Yes.
around and when I was heading down the trail.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. And do you need to change out both the front and the back, or can you just change out the back?
It's better if you do that way. You're a match set, and the cartridge shocks work pretty good, and you've got the capability at that point to keep it at stock height or lowered an inch.
Interesting. I don't have that many miles on mine, but I probably need to think about that if I'm going to keep it. I still haven't decided if it's my bike or not yet.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been riding somebody else's after riding a road glide for so
I
long.
bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to.
Yeah, it's definitely a different frame and a different ride than what I was expecting. Or
Did you like it in the curves?
I did like it
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
curves.
lighter.
And after my shoulder surgery, I feel like it's more manageable.
Oh, yeah,
If
I bet.
that makes any
Yeah, a whole
sense at
lot
all.
less
I bet
work
so.
to be thrown around.
That's just it too. I didn't, and even at low speeds and parking lots and stuff, you know, Eureka Springs is so unlevel. All
yeah.
the parking lots are jacked up as
They
far
are.
as steep pitches and that
Yeah.
stuff. And the road glide, when I rode it up there all those years, I had two. Getting it off the center stand, off the side stand is a chore by itself. The low rider has less weight at the top, so it's easier to get it up. And I did think it handled better,
Yeah.
even at slow speeds up there, as far as maneuverability and parking lots and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I did like that part of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a challenge to ride that
It gave
area.
me- yeah. I've been a little cautious, and I probably haven't ridden that many miles because my shoulder's still not 100%. I still have pain and limited strength, and I feel more comfortable on the low ride than I do on the low ride than I did the road glide right now.
Heavier
at
bike.
least. But yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be my bike or not. So what's next for Santa Fe Custom? You got anything else big coming up? Any big changes? You've got the new place built. You've got a paint booth in there now.
Yes.
Yep, full size booth, downdraft booth, which is that was a major thing for us. It really was. Just keep plugging along. About all we can really say right now.
Now,
Keep
dumb
doing it.
question. I don't know what a downdraft booth is. What is that?
The air comes in from the top. The entire ceiling is filters, and then it comes down and then exits out the side. So instead of having a cross flow to where you're dragging everything across it, you're bringing fresh air, filtered air in from the top and straight down.
All right. So this is something I'm fascinated with is that you guys have been married forever, and you work together.
I know.
And how's that working out?
I always tell him if he makes me mad, I'm going home.
Well, now you can't, because you used to have your shop at your house.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Now she really can.
Well, it used to be she just walked down the
I did,
drive
yeah.
to your house.
Yeah, we just really don't fight. So I don't know.
Well,
Why
I've
we
learned
have
that
it,
if I
but
invite one of you to lunch, I'm getting you both.
I
Right?
know. When we first started dating, though, I knew that, I don't know, it just worked. And it was like, I knew right off, because he was still racing motorcycles, that I needed to learn how to ride. So he came home one day from a ride he'd been on, and I said, I got an idea. And I said, I want you to find a motorcycle that I can ride. I'm going to buy it, but I want you to find one that's a good size for me. And he did. It was a Honda 185, I think.
185, XR 185.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I learned how to ride a dirt bike, and then the kids came along, so I went to four wheels, and I'd just stick them in a little pouch, and off we'd go. They rode with us. So the oldest one was 7 weeks old when he went with us the first time.
Took off down the river, down the Arkansas River, on four-wheelers. And then he started riding when he was 17 months old, and then Colton started when he was 2 years.
That's a long time riding then, isn't it?
I know. It is. But they were just raced over in the hills of Arkansas.
And how about when you brought Colton into the mix? Because Colton's been there for quite a few years now, too.
Oh, working with us?
Yes.
Yes, he has. He had started, of course, he was raised in the body shop, and then he took auto body in school, and then it was just, he'd been in some of the body shops, the bigger body shops in Oklahoma City, and he was tired. And so we asked him if he wanted to come on, and he does some good stuff. I'm going to brag about him.
He started helping us just part-time.
Yeah.
He'd come in a little bit after when he got off work, and he'd help me out.
Another shop.
And finally one day he just looked around and he goes, "You got a lot of stuff here." And I said, "I know." And he goes, "So what do you think?" I said, I think we ought to go get your box." So he gave his notice, and I loaded up his toolbox, and he's been with us ever since.
Yeah.
Very nice. And we're just becoming good friends. You're just a few miles up the street. I see at all the events I go to, because you're basically there as a vendor at some point or the other. We met obviously from the male days,
Right.
but also the old Jeff Williams motorcycle shows and all that
absolutely.
kind of stuff.
Yes.
And then I run into you every year at Sturgis that I'm there and you're there.
Yep.
And then Bikes and Blues. What's your favorite event from a motorcycle standpoint?
That's kind of a tough question. It
Okay.
really
Not for
is.
me.
But
Let's ask her first. Then.
I'm a Sturgis girl. I love South Dakota. I would move up there if he would leave, but
It is one of the most beautiful places I've ever
I'm
been.
telling you,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. I
I
just can't.
love riding around Sturgis.
Oh, yeah.
But Arkansas, I've been riding over in Arkansas since the early '70s, and I know there's roads. I no longer have to use a map anywhere in Arkansas. Just I know the roads so well, and I'm trying to get that way in Sturgis area. But yeah, I love riding up there. It's always one of those deals. It's a double-edged sword, because once I get there, I don't really want to come back. But you have to, because you have commitments for when you get back to town. But
And I've gotten arguments with people. I think it's as pretty than Colorado. I think that the roads up there with the creeks along the roads and
I agree.
the waterfalls right there along the
man.
you can stop and
Yes.
see, and then Needles and Iron Mountain and all those
Oh yeah,
roads.
I know.
Spearfish Canyon
It's
is
gorgeous.
unbelievable, and the Needles Highway, and you really can't. I mean, you can't take anything away from any of the riding around
No.
South Dakota.
What I'm impressed with also is the quality of the roads.
Yeah,
They are stellar.
They are.
Yeah.
They really are.
yeah. I haven't really found a bad. Even if you make a wrong turn and you end up on a gravel road or a dirt road, they're still decent roads.
In 2023, when we were up there working, we got to take the owner of Motor Trike, Jeff A., on a ride, and he was so funny because he had always ridden around the Sturgis area, but they hadn't gone out. So we took him to Nemo and Custer
Yeah,
Park.
took them up through Nemo and then
and
Custer and all that.
Iron Mountain Road or Needles Highway, of course. And they were just in awe. he told us, he goes, we could ride forever because I've never seen this.
Nemo and Van Canyon
Oh,
and
yeah.
all those
It's
roads.
gorgeous. Oh, my gosh, it's gorgeous.
I went with a friend Bill one year, and just the two of us were up there, and I think we went through Keystone like 4 times
Oh,
the
man.
same day, but just kept taking a right or a left and just taking a different road.
Yeah.
And you just end up somewhere else, and
Yeah.
it's just every road was just stunning.
Yeah.
2 or 3
we-
years ago, we rented side-by-sides and
Yeah.
did that. And it made me want my bike up there, my Trike. But we didn't have them that trip. We were with some other people. It was fun, too, but not as much fun as the street bikes, I mean.
Yeah, we did 400 miles in 4 days in a side by side.
That wear your butt out. Let's not tell T that, because she did 10,000 miles in 13 days.
But yeah,
I laugh about her riding in the rain.
We connected Hill City to Lead
Okay.
by dirt roads and trails. It was pretty cool. And then rode around Summit Needles Highway, but off the road. Got to see a lot of that, and then come back through Hill City. So it was really cool.
Was it through a tour group of some kind?
No,
Or
it
somebody know that you-
just maps, and we just took off. And one guy had GPS, and we were kind of following him. But then we also rode from Lead to Sturgis via the trails.
And that's kind of a nice transition, because you talked about what you like to do. You're still a dirt biker, kind of at the core,
Yeah,
and you still like to do the rides that like Gerald puts on and that sort of thing.
yeah. Still do adventure rides. Got a street legal YZ 250, and still do the adventure rides and go up and ride the 600 whenever I can get away. And yeah, I still enjoy the dirt.
What bike is that again?
It's a
Wonder how he
Yamaha.
found that. I wonder how he found that bike.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, I think I owned that bike for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it showed up one day, and
That was my 50th birthday present.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. It was.
guy shows up with that in the back of his truck and said, Ted says I need to bring this out here and drop it off. It's your
That's
bike
kinda
now. And
true,
I'm like,
kind of not true.
That kind of might have been Steve's like 66th or 67th birthday present. I don't know.
That was my 50th. My wife rolled that out for me.
Did she?
I had ridden it before, but I didn't quite know I was getting it. But that was a nice 50th birthday present.
That's pretty cool.
It was a kickstart back then.
it still is. It's a nice bike, and it's got some power.
That was the bike was just a lot of fun to drive because it's a 4-stroke, and I like the power band of that bike a lot.
Yeah.
And it's nimble. And you've had suspension work done to that too.
Yeah.
Right for you.
Yeah, it's set up for me, and the 600, and it works very well, especially in the whoop sections. It just skates through them.
Very nice. So do you like the off-road riding or the street riding?
I like the corners.
Both. Jim has got a motorcycle.
I still have a quad runner.
I like the corners on the Harley, but man, I sure like the trails on the dirt too. So I just love riding. It really makes me no difference. If you say let's load up and go play in the dirt, okay. Say let's load up and go for a ride, okay.
When we were riding with
okay either way.
when we were riding with the owner motor trike up around Sturgis area, Steve was leading, of course, and he got off the trike one time, and he goes, he rides like he's dancing, and I said, yeah, he does, and that's why I loved riding with him, because it was just so smooth, and it was fun. It was fun. But I like
I
riding
do
bikes.
enjoy it.
People don't. If you don't ride, you don't understand how much peace it brings.
Oh my gosh.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
And when you get zeroed in, I mean, when you're on a starting line on an event, it's everything tunes out. You don't hear anything. All you see is where you're going for the first turn, and you feel your bike. It gets to where you no longer even hear it. You just feel it, and you get tuned in. You're going through the turns. It's that same feeling. It's just I hear nothing. It's just like you zero in, and you're just flowing. I love it.
I absolutely get so much relaxation from riding a motorcycle, and people think, well, you got hit by a car. Are you scared or nervous? No. I mean, I was pissed.
Yep.
But it wasn't something that caused me to be afraid of riding. Matter of fact, I've bought 2 bikes since then. I'm gonna keep.
Yeah.
It's when it becomes part of your soul.
Only 2?
Shh, 2. Let's not count.
Maybe.
Maybe 2. maybe just one. I don't know. But just the riding experience itself, and kind of like you, I'm not as big a dirt bike, but each bike I ride has a different affinity or different something I like about it. And it just makes you grin.
Does. I know. I could have sold my Trike after we repainted it 10 times in Sturgis in 2023, and I said, it's not for sale.
Well, I've got a saying that if you get off your motorcycle and you don't look back, then you've got the wrong motorcycle.
Yeah. And I can't keep my eyes off of it.
Very nice. Any trips coming up? It's kind of going in the winter now.
I know.
Yeah.
We did go for a ride for a weekend in Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was. And we had a really good time. It was great weather. Jackets all week long.
Just
leathers.
two
No, there was others. And Steve ended up working on a couple, but it was all right.
Did you bill them for your time, my friend?
Yeah.
But we stayed in Harrison this year, so we kind of took off from Points and ventured from Harrison. But it was fun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, what in the spring? Back to where? Any events in the spring?
I really don't think we have any coming up in spring. That the only one I know of is going to be Sturgis. Maybe, I don't know, we might end up in Daytona.
I've never been there.
I haven't either.
We haven't either. Motor Trike keeps wanting us to go with them, and we just haven't made it down there yet. So maybe.
That may happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's April, May timeframe, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't. I've never been, so I don't know. I know it's early, not early, but it can be
It's
cold.
I think it's in May.
Maybe. I don't know.
First part of
I'll have
May.
to look and see.
I've not been there at all. But
Yeah.
anyway.
I'm more of a mountain girl instead of a beach person.
See, I'd rather be on the beach, but as far as the riding goes, I'd rather be in the mountains.
Yeah, I know.
Summertime, I'm really okay with the mountains, but wintertime, I'd be very okay with the beach.
I don't like the cold, so give me a beach any day.
Yeah.
But I don't see the riding being as good there as it would be in Sturgis or in Arkansas.
No, it's just a lot of just flat, straight road.
Yeah, that doesn't excite me that much at all. Anyway, well, thank you for being with me today. It's kind of fun.
Oh, you
seeing
bet.
friends.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
glad
Thanks
you
for
invited us to
having
enjoy
us.
And I've been cheating having my friends on the show because that's kind of how I feel comfortable. But anyway, Steve and Gloria with Santa Fe Customs and Colton with his audio shop. If you need
yes.
something, paint, whatever it is, give these guys a call. But I'm glad you guys are here.
Well,
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
enjoyed
having
it.
us.
Yeah.
So this
Appreciate
is
it.
Ted with My Biker Attorney with Let Out the Clutch. So thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you.